झाली सुरू मीटिंग हा. आपण मीटिंग
Good morning, everyone. Or it depends where you are. Might be very well good night. But yeah. If you're on the other side of the world, of course. Okay, I think we can start with a quick revision of what we did yesterday. Let me just share my screen. So yeah, I hope everyone is now part of this group, Raven channel, FF March 24. So I have also shared the recordings there of yesterday, and this folder will have like all the recordings. So let me just rename this to day one. This is Frappe Drive, by the way, also built on top of Frappe framework. Ah, Echo. Can you check, Vishal? There is an echo from your side. Let me make Nikhil host. Yep. So as I was saying, the recording I have shared in the group, the folder itself. So I will keep uploading the other 2 days here as well. Yeah. So if you're not part of this group, just let us know and we'll add you here. Yeah, I can see 17 people, but that's including me, Siley, and Nikhil. So probably more people have not joined this. So just get the chat here. Yeah. So yeah, let's start the bench. Mhm. I dot cap port 8000. Assets are broken. Tanuja says, please share link for join the group. Okay. So there is no link. You have to sign up here. Like there is link, but not directly to join the group. So you have to sign up here and let us know. This is a private channel, so you will want to be invited. I'm not able to see this channel. Okay, let me add you, Kavya. Add members, Kavya. Just check now if you're able to. Yeah, whoever is not able to see this channel, just add a message here. I will add you. Malek. What is your name in this? Did you sign up? But that's not the case. This is a separate email. You don't have to be registered at Frappe School to register for this. This is separate site, not dependent on Frappe School. I can't see you, Ninan. Let me search. Oh, not. No, email already exists. So maybe try password reset. Try password reset. Ninan, you have to first sign up and drop a message here on this channel or this channel. Any channel works. Just let me know that you're not available and we'll add you. Cool. Okay. So yeah, we created two doc types yesterday. Yeah, Nikhil, I have made you host, so you can admit people if someone is in the waiting room. So we have driver and vehicle, right? So driver, we created first name, last name, then we saw what doc type is, how we can configure it even further when we added this image, right? And then after creating the doc type, we saw virtual fields. We also figured out this way to get the full name here and making the title field and full name. So first we created a custom doc type, right? Custom doc types don't generate code. They remain in the site itself, right? But as soon as we turned on developer mode and made this doc type uncheck the custom checkbox, we got one folder for each doc type, and it had some files like JSON file, which is the schema of the doc type, which is used to create the table behind the scene for you or update the table, the database table. And we saw that, okay, where we can jump into the MariaDB console using bench dash dash site, then MariaDB, and we were able to see the tables, right, for each doc type, prepended by tab, prefixed. So it's not prepended. I don't know why I keep seeing prepended, but then we have like the driver.py file, which we used, right? And we learned about document lifecycle hooks, which basically let you hook into any part of the document's uh, lifecycle, that is before insert, before update, on update, validate, and you can run your own logic here, right? So Frappe will call this before saving the document to the database. Similarly, we saw on trash, right? You can throw validations using Frappe dot throw validation errors. And then here we just did simple computation, full name equal to the concatenation of first name plus last name. So that's where we ended yesterday. We also at the very start created some web pages, right? Using the web page. Hopefully, if we get time, I'll show you Frappe Builder tomorrow towards the end, which is like the now the much better way to build web pages, websites, uh, if you want full control. This is very like when you want to go fast, you want to use some building blocks that are already in Frappe, that is fine. But if you want to build something custom, that's a great way. Okay. List view, form view, discussed activity, track changes, so on and so forth. So what's the plan for today? Today we want to create some more doc types, right? Different types of doc types. And then we'll do client scripting in order to enhance even further the add front end scripts or client scripts as we call them. And then we'll proceed from there. Cool. Everyone done with the assignment? Any specific doubts in the assignment? Or if you're not done the assignment, like anything in specific that you got stuck at? Tanuja, I am registered in. No, no. So you have to sign up. It's a different site. Doesn't Frappe School is different. Chat.frappe school. Yeah, thanks, Nikhil, for confirming. Day one was easy because it just you had to create variety of doc types, and I had linked some videos. Hopefully you checked them out. So yeah, okay. Dennis, can you mute? Sevasoft, Sevasoft. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, let's start. So we'll go to doc type list. So we fix the piece where masters are there, right? Which means driver is there, vehicle is there, but bookings are not yet tracked somehow. So what we want to do is we want to automate the part of receiving the booking and tracking the bookings, right? So people should be able to come to the website, fill in a form and book a vehicle, right? Like request a vehicle, whether Irfan accepts it or rejects it, it's up to him. But we want to get the booking from their side online. So he doesn't have to respond to calls. That manual work gets out, right? So for that, I will create a new doc type called ride booking, right? Module will be what? iCab. So it generates the code in our app. And I won't check any of it. Let's create and continue. So what all fields do you think we'll need here for a booking? Anyone, you can unmute and speak.
Date.
Date, sure. Let's do a date field. Booking for, we can call it booking for date. Let's call it booking for date. Can be small. What else?
The price.
The price we will decide, right? So this is not something we'll do in the booking. Booking will come. Irfan can either reject it or accept it. Once he accepts it, then we'll create an invoice, right? Or the actual thing, right, where he assigns the driver and sends them. That will be the invoice part. Here we don't have to deal with the price, etc.
The
That's the
vehicle
next
that
step.
we want to book.
Yeah, the vehicle they want to book. And what kind of field we can have here? Because
A link.
if you do data, right, you have to manually enter the vehicle name. But this vehicle, already we have a master in the system, right? So we have to link those two. That, okay, this field is one of the vehicles that are already in the system. For that, we have the link field. And let's call it vehicle. And for a link field, in the options, if you see, if you click, it will become an autocomplete, which you can select the doc type which you want to link this field to. In our case, it will be vehicle. And I will move it to the second column, maybe the first, like this can go here. So now let's save for now. Go to ride list. We'll add more fields. But if you come here and see, right, it shows you all the vehicles in the system, even an option to create a new vehicle from here. So this is link fields, right? Now we are connecting doc types. Someone asked yesterday, right, how we can link doc types. This is one of the way you can link the doc types. This is linking one. Next up, after this, we'll see one to many as well. Okay. This was link field. Straightforward. Let's go. Let's see what other fields we will need or Irfan will need in order to send a vehicle. Vishal says number of days. He doesn't care of number of days. So we will follow a revenue model that says you can take however you want, but we'll charge per kilometer. Then we won't need number of days. Harshal asks availability. Availability of what? Availability of vehicle.
Address and identification of the rider, like any document.
So address we'll need. Pickup address. I did a small because address can be long. So small text has larger limit than data. You can clearly see.
Are we able to add the location here, like exact location?
We have a geolocation field, but we won't do that because in the front end, we have to do integration then. But yeah, you can. Geolocation field is there. Try it out. It will let you drop a marker. I can
Okay.
show you a preview like this. Again, drop location, we can do it, but it can be multiple, right? They get to keep the driver and the vehicle as long as they want. They can go to multiple drop locations. This is just the booking. They are asking for the vehicle with the driver, right? So driver we will assign. So we are not bothered about this in the booking itself. Availability of vehicle will have some logic that only makes the booking go through if the vehicle is available. So we don't have to worry about that. Cool. Anything else important we are missing? Who is this guy, right? Who is booking, right? The main thing you are forgetting. Customer name, right? Mandatory. Vehicle is also mandatory. Booking date is also mandatory. Pickup address is also mandatory. At least this we will need in order for, think about it in the business sense, right? If you get this from the customer, then only you will be able to send a vehicle, right? At least this information you need. Email, yeah, some kind of contact. So let's do phone. Usually people do phone in this cases because contact.
ID proof.
We don't need ID proof in order to send a vehicle. That's fine. Customer is not driving, right?
Okay.
Like he will send a driver. Irfan will send a driver. So we don't need customer ka license number. So yeah, there can be many different fields, like depends on the use case, right? In this use case, it is fine. He'll get this and he will be able to send a vehicle with a driver. Let's save. And maybe we should change this to date and time because what time of the day, right? So booking for, booking for. Okay. Now we can customer name, vehicle, pickup address, booking for, and then customer contact. So they can fill in their number. So this is in the backend right now, right? This is not like coming from the customer or anything like that. He has to manually still create this document. Irfan has to. So we'll find out a way in order to collect this from the front end. But first, let's give it a naming series, or expression also works. Let's say RO for ride order, then for the current month, Y, the current year, and then some integer. Okay. So now he'll be able to create bookings. John Doe. At least he will be able to track them right now, right? That this booking came. Booking for this. India. Pickup address. Delhi Airport. Terminal 1 maybe. Right? So as you can see, RO03 2024. So 3 is the month, this is the year. And one thing we want is a status field, right? Whether he accepted the booking or rejected the booking, or is it still waiting for some kind of draft state where it can either be accepted or rejected, right? So there are only three things. Either it is a new booking, he hasn't accepted or rejected yet. Second is accepted. Third is rejected. So what do you think? What kind of field should we have where we have only discrete options? So we have something called a select field, right? Here you can give the options. And so I will say status, move it to the top. And here I can give in the options, new, accepted, rejected. So these three will be options of this select field. And we can set a default to new. Hit save, go to write booking list. Now you will see this select field, right? This is an HTML select field with the three options that you gave in the options field property, right? Which is here. Very useful. So now he'll be able to accept or reject them, right? Accepted, rejected, so on and so forth. So you can even have the status here in the list view. So let's in list view and list filter as well. So I'll show you what is list filter did. It did this, right? So you can filter right from here instead of going here and selecting that field first. So we already have like all the mandatory fields here. In list view, we don't want that in list view. So now we have rejected, right? So yeah, now you have to collect this from the website. So let's discuss what's the difference between this, the view we are in, and the view the customer will be in, right? He might not be logged in. Like most probably he won't be logged in. He comes to our website, right? So you can click here, view website. And we added a web page as well, right? About or something we called. So we can check what web pages we created. About Irfan Cabs. So this is part of the website. And on book now, we should show a form that they can fill to book, right? Here we left the web page. So this is the web portal, we call it. And the one we were building stuff in, please keep your mic in mute, Karthik. Nikhil, can you mute them? Yeah, thanks. So yeah, this is the portal side of things, and this is the desk. Usually, the desk part, right, will be used by internal people, employees, manager, Irfan himself, right? And the guest or the website users are different, right? They won't have access to this admin interface, but they will still be able to access normal web pages like this one or this one, right? These are public pages and they are not inside the admin view. Make sense? So now somehow we need to create a web form, right? To collect bookings, right? So we can do that. We have a web form feature, web form, right? You can see these are some out of the box web forms like update profile, seen website, see? You can like, if they don't have access to the desk, they can still update their profile. Copy embed code, what is this? This is new. Okay, if you want to embed this web form in somewhere, okay, fine. Okay, so these are standard web forms, right? They come out of the box with Frappe, but we want our own web form. And let's give it a title of book ride, right? And it automatically generated the route. So route is where will this web form be shown? And select doc type. So as I said, right, once you have the doc type, you can extend it with some features like web forms, web views, etc. So this is one of them, right? Where will the data go, right? When the user fills in this form, where will the data be stored, right? How will the data look? So all of that is decided based on this doc type. So for our case, it is called write booking. And we can write an introduction. So what all fields do we want to collect, right? We want to collect the fields that are in the doc type, except a few. So we can click on get fields button. It will get all the fields, but we don't want to collect status, for example, right? It's an internal field. We just need it for tracking it in the desk on the admin panel, not from the customer. And we can save. Okay. What does it say? Booking for date. Oh, cool. So it is not published on the website. We have, so it won't be live on the website, but we can publish now. See on website. See, it published a form on the website. So you can share this URL. Let me just move this thing here. You can share this URL with your customers and they will be able to book a new ride. So what we can do is we can copy this part and add this to this link. So I'll switch to desk, go to web page, about Irfan Cabs, hero. We have to edit the values and primary action will become this, the URL to the web form. So now if we hit save, see on website, book now, takes them to the web form. Nice. So now he just needs to share his website and they will be able to book vehicles from here. So let's try. Jenny Oliver. They can select the vehicle, pickup address, airport, booking for maybe 29. And yeah. Save. See, submitted. Thank you for spending your valuable time. And let's check whether we got the booking here or not in the desk. So we'll go to ride order, ride booking, sorry. See, got created, right? So this is how you will be able to collect data from the portal side of things. Survey forms, right? For internal, can be for internal employees, can be for anyone, guests, feedback forms that we sometimes send, that are all based on web forms. There are some forms for like offsites we go, right? So each offsite has a form that, okay, whether you will go or not, and then easily we can create a report on top of it that shows how many people are coming and so on and so forth. So let's go back to the web form and see how we can customize it further. So if you scroll down, you can write an introduction. Please select a vehicle of your choice. Fill in the details and the ride will be on the way. It's misleading because he has to accept it. And then what else? Now we go to settings, we can see that login required, right? So if you check this, only people or those who are authenticated, those who are users in the system will be able to access this web form, right? We don't want that. Anybody should be able to. If you enable this, you see more options like allow multiple responses, right? If they can log in, we can save the state, right? This guy for submitted this 3 forms, like 3 responses to single form. And you can allow editing after submit. You can receive anonymous response. So even if they log in, right? Anonymous, right? It means it won't capture the information of the user that submitted it. What else? You can configure the maximum. So if you have an attached field, you are asking maybe their license photograph, you can set the maximum size that they can attach. Yeah. So then let's go to customizations. Instead of save, we can say book, right? So if you see it on website now, right? What did I do? No login required. And book, right? So this changed the button label. What else do we have in the customization? So you can have some scripting, custom CSS. You can attach some meta information for SEO if you want to. And this is after submission. So once I submitted, right, it showed me a success message. You can configure here. Right. Waiting for confirmation, right? Success. You can even give it a URL where it will redirect after success. Waiting for confirmation, you will be notified. Let's hit save. See on website. Let's fill in Jacob. Vehicle is this. Airport. Mm. Book. See, success. Waiting for confirmation, you will be notified, right? So now that we were able to using using the customization features of web form. Any doubts in web form? You can even attach a banner image if you want to. Too big, I guess, but let's try. See, banner image behind the scene. If we can show table of data in web form, then we take user input. How can I? Nigam, didn't get your question. Table of data as in? What's the use case? Yeah, you can drop in your message and maybe Nikhil or Kavya will be able to help in the chat. Yeah, so this was web form. So now he's getting, right? He's getting the new bookings and now he can either accept or reject. And on accepting, right, now he has to assign a driver and send. How to edit in web form and take changes and updates data from DB or CSV. I don't think you got the point of web form. Web forms are just for collecting data. They are not a view of your doc type, right? They are not the way like doing CRUD. Just create part of it. So they are not like, okay, this is the doc type. Now they can edit from the portal. So yeah, now let's go back to the doc type list. We'll create one more doc type. So now he has accepted the right? Now he wants to track, he wants to assign a driver, he wants to track what charges, like what was the total amount for the trip, right? All of the financials he want to track. So we'll call it ride invoice. And same ICAP module. And this time I will check this checkbox, right? Don't worry about it. I'll explain what it does. Is submittable, right? And create and continue. It added one field you can ignore for now, but we'll add our own fields first. So let's add a section below. So you can add multiple sections and we'll add fields. So what all fields do we need, right? So anyone? For creating this invoice, what all fields do we need?
The right booking.
The booking itself, right? So we have to link to which booking this invoice is for. So we'll say booking, and this will be mandatory. And this will be linked to, I am using the link field, and then I have linked to right booking, right? So the booking itself. Invoice number will basically be the name of this thing, right? The naming rule. So let's give a expression, or we can even do by naming series field. And so naming series is, you can create a field in your form, right? So let's say I added a field, or let's do a select field, naming series, and I can give a few options since this is a select field. So I'll share the naming series documentation, naming series Frappe, naming. So you'll be able to find multiple methods you can name. Okay. So this only works if you have a field called naming series in your doc type. That's why we called it naming series. So the name that will be generated will be naming underscore series, right? And then you can give it a pattern, just like the format one. But there is one huge difference I'll tell you, right? And this can be changed per document, right? So let's go back. Naming series, I will give it two options, right? Booking, hash, 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 and then write invoice. Maybe this also includes a year. Hopefully I'm doing it correct. It doesn't show. You can search naming series. See if there is an elaborate document on this one. I'm just looking at the documentation. No, not the one we want. Let's try. So I will hit save. And then if I try to create an invoice, right? You will see it gives me an option what will be the series of for use, like for the name of this invoice. If I do this and hit save, see RI 0001, because we selected a naming series, and now they can't select a new series, right? Because once the document is named, it is named. So RI then 0001, exactly what we called it here, right? And if we use the second series, you will see it is RI, the year, which is 2024, and then 001. So we are controlling the format per document. So this can be useful if you have, so I'll give you a solid example. At Frappe Cloud, we create two types of invoices. Like both are sales invoice, but the naming series is different. So one is foreign without the taxes, like we get paid in USD. Second is INR with GST. So we have two naming series. One includes the some indication that this is out of India, right? The invoice is out of India. It has its own series. And second one is maybe India, right? The normal invoice. Notice one thing, both have their own counters. So 001 and the second series also has 001. So both started at 1. But if you had noticed the order, right? Let's go to ride booking or order, whatever we called it. See, it started at 002. Why? because it has a global counter. So any doc type that uses formatting uses a global counter. So 001, we might have used it up somewhere. Let's see, driver. But yeah, so that's a global counter. And this is like specific to this doc type, right? Invoice. And that too per naming series. So this is the advanced stuff. Naming series is very useful in that sense. Yeah. So now you know naming series as well. Let's fix it. I don't like this. We need to have dash in the name. So let's go to form, naming series. Let's say dash dash. So maybe two types of naming series. Let's delete this too. Okay. And we can select the month or the year. Okay. We incorrectly formatted stuff. Let's find out what we did. That's why I was looking for the documentation. It's possible to specify the unique series for users. Okay, let's ah. Probably this, but I'll tell you a better way to figure it out. See, like that was the mistake we did. So any dynamic thing is surrounded by dots. See this, like full stop. So this part is dynamic, then this part is dynamic. Similarly, this part is dynamic in this part. This was the old format as well. Now we have a better format system. So you can still go with old style. See, this was the old style of formatting, separated by a dot. Cool. So now booking is there, that is fine. And from booking, we can figure out what was the vehicle, who is the customer, right? But still, there is one more thing we need to track in the invoice, that what was the vehicle we sent, right? So let's also link the vehicle that was sent. This will be linked to, no, the driver vehicle is already there in the booking. And here I can say it is linked to a driver. So this will be done by Irfan. And what I'm doing, driver, cool. And then this is mandatory naming series. Let's let it be there. We are not using it, but so what else? What else do we need to have an invoice? Anyone? So now we are capturing the driver as well. The rate, right? The rate and amount, etc. fields. So let's add a few, like I'll add a section below. I'll call it, or let's not give it any name, payment information or something like that, payment. And here I can have a float field. Let's call it rate per kilometer. That's fine. And then we can have a currency field, right? Total amount, right? So per kilometer, which means we'll also need the distance, right? So we can have another float field, distance in kilometer, right? So by default, total amount, non-negative, rate per kilometer, non-negative, distance, non-negative. So some basic validation at least, right? So if we go to the invoice, now we'll see this. The driver can fill in based on wherever he took them and like calculate and punch them in. and then we can go ahead, proceed with this. But there are two major issues. If I come to this invoice, I would definitely want to know the customer name, the vehicle easily. I don't have to jump here, right? I don't have to jump to this booking, right? So since the data for the customer is already present in the booking, why not fetch, right? I included the fetch from video there, right? So what we can do is we can add a data field, customer name, and this will be, so you can search for fetch from, and it will show you all the document that is this doc type is linked to, all the doc types. So I want it to fetch from booking, and it will tell what field do you want, customer name, right? And I also want to get a link field for the vehicle. This will also come from the booking itself. So booking, and the field will be vehicle. Hit save. Options. Okay, we have to provide the options here. Vehicle. Yeah. Now if you go back, you see the customer name and vehicle both are read only because they were fetched from this thing. And now if I come to this invoice, I'm very clear that, okay, why is it? But fine. So who is the customer? What was the vehicle? And what was the booking? Like that is fine. Payment will
Sam,
figure it out. Yeah.
over here it's important to note that normally in an SQL-based database, you wouldn't copy over the customer name and the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because if it's linked to a booking, then you would, you would join booking to the ride invoice and then pick up the customer name and vehicle. So
Yeah.
this is something that only happens in Frappe, where in an SQL-based database you denormalize the data, right? That is, you
Yeah.
keep a copy, and that's because the UI is driven by these fields, right? So this is something that newcomers get confused a lot.
Mhm.
Because they feel, oh, okay, I do have the customer name in my booking. Why do I have to
Mhm.
copy it over here?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. So you are copying basically, right? You're copying the customer name, you're copying the vehicle. So usually the better way would be to have like a link field. So even the customer should be like, when you're thinking about normalizations, the customer should be a separate doc type. And
yeah,
in ERP Next it is, right?
yeah.
And second thing is like, if you just want to see the customer name here, maybe virtual field can be the thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. We learned about virtual fields yesterday, right? Good point. Thanks. Thanks for pointing out. Vinny. So, yeah. Yeah, for now it is fine. But yeah, in real world applications, you might want to rethink how they are modeled, whether you're not copying data. Because if in right order right now, right, I update the customer name, it won't automatically get reflected here. It's just a one-time thing. So
Right.
they
But
are
but
not
I
skipping.
feel, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I feel for an invoice it's fine, because
Mm-hmm.
invoice, you want it to be point in time. You don't want
Mm-hmm.
to go back and retrospectively update invoices. So
Yeah,
even,
yeah.
I mean, that's also the reason why in ERP Next or education, when they create these
Mm-hmm.
invoices, they copy over the data, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
yeah, because some kind of because since we'll
compliance,
be submittable.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. But now let's say
Mm,
if because when new
mm,
developers come in, they always
mm,
feel that, okay,
mm,
it's an actual copy, right? Because it's a
mm.
very, very different pattern compared to the regular SQL programming that people do. So I
Yeah,
just wanted to point that out. It's not that, when you do fetch from, it's not that it's fetching it live. It's
yeah,
actually making a copy when you're
yeah,
saving the form.
exactly. Thanks for pointing that out. It's actually making a copy. So if you go into and tab write invoice, you will see these two fields there. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's fix the other issue here, which is this two, right? What does driver two mean? So we have a very good, decent full name here. So if you see here, it shows the full name while selecting the option, but once you select it, it won't show. So there is a configuration we need to do in order to show the title here, right? So if you go to driver list, you will see, right? We were able to show the title here. And there was one more checkbox that we did here, right? Show title in link fields. This does exactly what the checkbox says. It will show the title of this doc type. In this case, this will be the full name when you are using in a link field, not the report. I want to go to the list. Now, if I reload, see, John Doe. Yeah. So now this seems fine. But yeah, at least now he can assign a driver, send. But let's talk about this banner, right? And this draft. And why isn't the save button here? Because up till now, whatever doc types we have seen are normal doc types. They just like you CRUD them mostly. You create, read, you can update anytime. And that's that. But submittable doc types have like a specific feature. So if I submit them, right, let's just submit. It will ask whether you want to permanently submit or not. I'll say yes, and everything becomes read only. See, every field is now read only, so you can't change. So even if you see this is draft, you can edit. So they have three states: draft, submitted, and cancelled. So submittable, once they are in draft, right? You can edit just like a normal doc type. You can go and change maybe the order, the naming series. Like naming series won't take effect now, but the driver you can change. You can set the total amount. So everything is there. But once you submit it, right, you can't change stuff. And these are like generally transactional doc types: sales invoice, sales order. So once the transaction is done, you may not want to change them, right? That's a compliance thing as well. So they become immutable, sort of, right? So you can't change them. You can still go in the database and do it, but Frappe won't let you do that. It has validations in place that submittable doc types should not change. And even if the invoice got created, the amount was set, right? The transaction is done, and but you or someone who is entering the data made a mistake, right? They can't edit, but they can cancel it. They can say, okay, this is void, this is cancelled, and then amend it. See, still it is read only. Cancel does not mean you get to edit it, but now you can amend it. And remember the field that got automatically added, the link field. So this link field is to a right invoice from which this is being amended from, right? So this one is the cancelled one. This is the new one we are fixing the data in. So maybe we gave the wrong driver. And now if you see, this was the cancelled one and it just added a -1 here to indicate that it is amended from this one. And if you cancel and amend again, it will become -2, -3, so on and so forth. But now you have a trail of stuff that happened, right? You can easily see what was the original invoice and then what got changed, right? So three states: draft, everything is editable, you can do whatever you want. Second is when you submit it, it goes into this read-only mode. You can't edit it any longer. Then third is you cancel it, right? That's it. And once you cancel it, you can amend it, right? You can't amend before canceling. So you can see amended from. So you can anytime jump to the older version of it. Kind of like version. You can use that version. So it is the updated version of this invoice. So you're not actually updating the invoice, but creating a new version of it. Yeah. Thanks for answering, Nikhil. Any questions on this submittable part? So there was one thing someone pointed out. Nigam says logo or company details. So they won't probably live in the invoice, right? Like the logo will be of Irfan Caps. That's related to print, right? That's not related to the document data itself. So when you design a print format, at that time you set the logo, etc. So did you do day one assignment, Saivasoft? No, that has the answer of how do you change the color of these badges. Okay, cool.
Hussein, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
status color, even if you don't provide a color, there is a default color map that Frappe sometimes uses, right?
Yeah. So in the video, I have shown that how you can customize. So accepted, rejected, this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
They have the default color. So if Frappe is able to guess, it will able to assign a color
yeah,
like cancelled is red,
yeah.
then rejected is red, success is green, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. There is a default color map. Um,
Yep.
Probably like most of ERP relies on the default one, but if you have special cases, you can. It
Yep.
is pretty straightforward. Yeah. So for example, right booking, right? Here accepted, probably we want it green. So in that case, you can assign your own color to the status. And it should be called status, by the way, the field. Then only it renders it as a badge. And then shows, like, gives you the option to customize the color. Cool. Yeah, so what's the issue in the invoice? Right. Um, we called it an invoice, but we are not tracking the payment properly. So let's create a draft one. John Oliver, let's select this booking and hit save. Right now you can go and say, okay, right, this kilometer is 10, and then uh, they can calculate this in their head and put in 250, right? Easy. And you can charge them this amount. But wouldn't it be better if we multiply this field and automatically set the total amount? So we learned about controller files. So where will we write this logic? Logic to automatically calculate this into this and set it to total amount. By now you might have the answer, right? Anyone? Yeah, the model class or the controller class, right? So for write invoice, we will have to go into write invoice py file. Here we can invalidate, or before save both work, we can say self dot total amount equal to self dot, what was the field? Rate per kilometer. So you can hold Alt on Mac, Option on Windows, uh, or the reverse of it, Option on Mac or Alt on Windows, to copy the field name. It will show you the field name and then you can click to copy. So you don't have to type it. Multiplied by self dot distance in kilometer. And now if you go back, change anything here. See, 25 into 2500, and we should make this read only, by the way. Let's make this field read only for the same reason we made full name read only. Right. Read only, save. See, 500. And And now if I change this, 600. Cool. Nikhil, what did I didn't figure out. I didn't know about that. Know about what?
Oh, the copying the field name. That was pretty cool.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
I just click to copy. I
Which key is this?
started.
Is that option?
Yeah, option on Mac.
Ah, nice. I didn't know about that. I always used to go to the
Ah, yeah,
doc
this
type
is
to
pretty
figure
cool.
it out.
So earlier
Yeah.
it was just for administrators. So if you are logged in as
Okay.
admin, then only it used to show. But
Well,
now,
usually you are.
yeah, usually in development mode you are.
Yeah.
But when you are writing server script or something, you are not. So that's why it was later on V14, I guess. It was made open for all.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, also, by the way, for everyone, if you are making doc types and doing any of that, right, you need to be an administrator.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
make doc types from a regular user account because, I mean, on production, it's fine. I'm talking about when
Mm.
you're actually developing because then
Mm.
those files, those Python, JavaScript files, they won't get generated at all.
Yeah, I have been in that trap. So in the last training itself, I was why is this not unchecked? I went and checked developer mode twice. I restarted the bench, and then someone pointed out that you are not logged in as administrator. And I was like, what? So
Yeah.
even if you are in developer mode, you won't see the custom checkbox go away. So you need to, good point. So I have been in that trap. But yeah. So logged in as administrator. And usually in local, doesn't matter whether you're logged in as admin
Yeah.
for because you don't want to track anyways. Uh, so yeah, now we have the invoice, we have the booking. But in the invoice, I have one problem that according to the use case given by Irfan, uh, he wants to track where he picked up, where he dropped, and again where he picked up, where he dropped, what was the kilometer separately, not just one field summing up, right? So here is the model he's going for that he shared. That the driver will say, I went from A to B, right? It was 4 kilometer, right? And then from B to C, that was 5 kilometers. So this is how the drivers will report, right? So we need some form of field that can record this, and this can be n number. So they can again go from C to D, so on and so forth. So multiple of this journeys, if you will. And then as a developer, we will sum it up. We'll call it 9 kilometer. We will multiply it with our rate, and then we'll calculate the amount to 90, right? So in Frappe, so this is one to many, right? So one order is linked to multiple of these rows, right? This is one to many relationship. For that, we have something called, and this don't exist without the order. One more thing. This doesn't make sense, right? Existing as an independent record doesn't make sense. Only, so suppose sales invoice item, right? Sales invoice has different multiple items. It can be 10 items, 20 items. So same use case. Here we have the items for this ride invoice instead of sales invoice. So in Frappe, we can do this. So first of all, we have to model this part, right? How will the one row look like, right? This is one row, right? So you can see this has one column for source. So this is source, and then it goes to destination. And then there is one more column called distance, right? So first we will model this one row, and then we will see how we can have that multiple linking. So for modeling that embeddable this row, we'll use framework's feature called child table. So we'll create a doc type. We'll call it ride invoice item, and then module will be iCap, because again, we want to bundle it with our app. And this time I will check this checkbox, child table is child table, right? Edit, create and continue. And now I am modeling this one row, right? Source, destination, and distance. So let's say source, destination, and distance can be float. Okay. And let's save. You will see there is no button to go in list view. As I said, right, this item won't exist without its parent, right? So we call them the parent, or in this case, it will be the ride invoice. So this will be embedded in the doc type, the parent doc type. It won't exist, like they don't have a separate list view. So we'll go back to ride invoice. And here, instead of this distance in kilometer, we will have, let's add a section below. We can move it above. I will add a table type of field. So this will help us do the one-to-n mapping, right? So we'll call it items. And then you have to link it to a child table, not anything else, a child table. So right now we created a child. So this is basically how you will add multiple rows, right? This is the child table part of it. I'll hit save, go to invoice, and you will see if you add a new row here, source, destination, distance. But somehow it is not visible here. So let's go back to item and we'll make sure they are visible in list view. So in this case, its list view is the grid on which it is shown, right? Invoice list. Now, if you see source, destination, and distance are visible in the grid view. Now you can start say A, distance is 10. Maybe we should change the position. Okay. Distance in kilometer, because we removed that field. We no longer have that. So let's comment this one out for now. And also I'll move the distance towards the end, because while entering data, it's easier to do say A to B, distance was 4. Add one more row, B to C, 10, right? So now we got the one-to-n mapping. So this is called child table. So first I created a child table doc type, which basically modeled how will one row of this look like. And then I embedded it in a doc type, which was the ride invoice in this case, using the table field. So we added a table field in the invoice. So we call it the parent, where it took like how will each row look like, the child table doc type, right? So now we can write controllers to basically sum this up and calculate dynamically. Cool. Any doubts in child table? Is it clear? Yeah, cool. So these are child tables, one-to-n relationship, and they don't exist without their parents. So let's go back and peek behind the scenes. In the database, how are these things modeled, right? How are child tables modeled? Let me just exit out of it. Clear. Go to MariaDB again. So they don't have list view doesn't mean it didn't create a database table for them. They are stored separately. They are not embedded, like the data is not embedded in the parent doc type, but they are linked somehow. So let's say select star from, what will be the name? Tab, write invoice item. So as you can see, it also has a name. It is always random because we don't need to use it anywhere. Let me just scroll here. And you will see it has the source, distance, and destination, the fields that we added. But it also has three extra fields called parent, right? So this is the parent name. In this case, this is the parent name, right? Parent field. So this is the field name. In this case, if you hold option, it will be the items. Parent type. So this is the doc type of the parent, which is write invoice in this case. So this is how they are linked, right? So whenever Frappe wants to fetch this particular document, it will go to the child table database table and say wherever the parent name and the field match, just give me those rows and order, right? There is order also, order by this IDX field. So this is the index of this in particular grid. So 1 means first rows, 2 means second row. So this 1, 2, right? So if you want to write scripts as well, you can do that. We'll do that soon, but you get the point. So child tables, even though it looks like the data is inside this invoice somehow, but they are stored separately and they are fetched when you get this form. And one more thing, like if you just select star for write invoice, you will see a field called doc status, right? So doc status field is useful, is the one which is tracking whether your doc type is submitted, draft, or cancelled, right? So behind the scenes, Frappe uses this field. 0 means draft, 1 means cancelled, 1 means submitted, 2 means cancelled. Clear? So suppose going down the line, you want to prepare a report. We'll learn about reports, which says, okay, only give me submitted invoices. I want to only calculate that. So you can tell doc status 1, right? Usually cancelled invoices are ignored from any kind of revenue reports, etc. Yeah, this can be useful in that case. See how behind the scenes, first we saw child tables are modeled, second submittable doc types. Yeah. So, okay. So now we can calculate this, by the way, automatically. Right now the logic is broken because we removed. So we have to iterate over this child table. First thing, we have to multiply it with the rate, right? And then calculate the amount. Earlier it was very simple. It was one line, right? Because we only had one distance in kilometer. Now each child has one. So we have to total this out. What we'll do is, usually what I do is, I don't directly start writing logic here, right? So we have the MariaDB console. We also have a Python console. So I can say bench dash site i.cap, then console. So this will take me to the site's Python console. Here I can write Python code that will be run on my site, this site. So from UI, you saw how you do CRUD, right? You can say, okay, give me this. You go to the list view, you create a new invoice, and you save. But you can do that through script as well. So you can say, so to read a invoice, you can say frappe.get doc, name of the doc type, and name of the document. In this case, we want to read this particular. Let's copy this name. Hit enter. Let me just make it bigger for you. So what I'm doing, write invoice, frappe.getDoc, write invoice, this particular invoice. We didn't store it anywhere. So we can say ride invoice equal to underscore. This is a trick of console, so it saves the last returned value in the underscore variable. So now if you check RI, it is ride invoice. So this is an instance of this class, our model class, right? If you have seen traditional frameworks, they all have some kind of this ORM or object relational mapper. So Frappe has also an ORM that went and fetched. So if you do write dot name, you will see the name. If you do ri dot let's say driver, it will give you the driver ID. And then if you say ri dot customer name, right? So this is why it made the names Pythonic, like valid Python variable name. So you can do this, right? And now you can update stuff. So you can say ri dot driver maybe 2, and then you can call save here, right? So let's see if it got updated or not. It didn't, because in console, like it doesn't automatically do database commit, right? It will create a transaction when you start the console and won't commit automatically. So you have to manually commit the changes, whatever you did, because console is mostly for experimentation, right? And now if you refresh, you will see that it got changed. The driver got updated, right? And in such cases, it's useful if we do track changes, right? So now if from backend again I change it, make it 1. First we have to save, then commit. I'll share the documentation, don't worry. Now you see, okay. I did track changes, why doesn't it show? See, 1 to 2, should have shown 2 to 1, but for some reason, maybe it was cached or something. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Why didn't it show? Because console doesn't auto reload your Python side of things. So in order to do that, you can just run console with auto reload. And then it will, whatever Python changes happen, right? It will auto reload them. Omar, you have something to say? Okay. So yeah, now we can experiment, right? Now we can experiment. Let me get the ride here. And okay, again, I forgot to store it. So ride is here. So now if I do dot items, you will see in Python side, in the ORM side, I get it as a list of invoice item, right? So exactly we have two. So let me just move it here. So we'll see exactly 2 items, right? And if you do ri dot items, let's get the first one and do distance 4. Correct, right? Bench, so there is a question by Danny. Is there a benefit using bench console instead of system console? Beside, we can only import Python libraries in bench console. Advantage as in, yeah, I think you answered the question yourself that this system console is restricted, but it is available. So you don't have to SSH into the server to run your code. And system console, you can do the same thing. You can do get doc, etc. But it is restricted in the sense we use a library called restricted Python API, and only select APIs are available in system console, right? But here you have the complete power. You can import code from, you can run arbitrary code in your site. Here you can't do that. So we will discuss server scripts as well, which are basically the custom counterpart of this controller files. So Yeah, Nikhil says you can't delete documents from system console as far as I know. Let's try it and let's see what system console has to say. So we have a frappe.delete doc. You can give it write invoice. Let's delete this one. Seems useless. And we have to commit, as I said. Went. It should have deleted it. Yeah, it's gone. So you can delete. So you can't delete from, I'll tell you what, SQL. So here you can't say delete this. Yeah, exactly. So SQL side you can't, but delete doc you can call. Right. So where you'll find this APIs that you are looking for, delete doc, get doc. There is also, if you just want a single value, you can say frappe.db.get value of, let's say, driver 1. I just want the full name of that driver, John Oliver, right? So db.get value, we have db.set value. This are inside Python API. Frappe Python API, if you search, you'll find document. See, first one is the get doc we learned. And here you have some good examples as well. Get last doc will get you the last document, the latest document that got created. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Nikhil. You can share the document as well. This is the document, like the document API, and then we have the DB API separately. So you can check for if some document exists or not using frappe.db.exist. So behind the scene, you can think it will do a generate a SQL query and run for you. Yeah, a lot of them. Cool. So let's get back to the logic we were trying to do. So now since we saw that it is a list and we can easily get the distance using dot distance. So now we can go back after experimenting to validate. I will write a separate method here. Def set, let's call it total amount. So it will automatically calculate the total amount. Self pass, and on validate, I will call this method that I have created. So what do we have to do? We have to sum all distances, multiply by rate, and set to amount, total amount. Right? Exactly that. So let's do that. So I will say total distance. Now it is Python side of things. This is not Frappe specific. The logic you are writing is your business logic. So total distance is 0 for item in self, which will be this thing, RI, right? The invoice which is being validated dot items. We can even do before save. In this case, it doesn't make much of a difference. So before saving, it will set the total amount. So total distance equal to 0 for item in items. We will say total distance plus equal item dot distance. So at the end of this loop, we'll get the total distance, right? And now we can easily do the second part of it. We'll say self dot total amount equal to self total distance into self dot rate per kilometer. Cool, easy. We summed it up, then we set it to total amount. Now let's try it out. Let me just change this to 10. So 10 plus 4, 14 times 10, 140. Nice. We got practice with more controller logic. That's nice. Usually, if you dig into the code base of Frappe ERP, you'll find that like even like they use this hooks, but the logic is neatly separated out into methods. One method just does one thing, so this only sets total amount, and then maybe there will be validate customer credit limit, something like that. So all of that stuff happens in some controller somewhere. But yeah, now you should be able to open sales invoice.py. No, that is overkill, but open some small doc type and check sales invoice. Maybe it inherits from a controller, if I recall correctly. And so yeah, you can do pretty complicated business logic here. Cool. Pritish, you are there? Okay. So yeah, enough working with PY side of things. So right now, let's start with something simple. So I have this ride booking, right? Where the status is as accepted, rejected, new. So right now, if Irfan comes here, he sees this, right? What do he want to do, right? He either wants to accept it or reject it. So he has to come here, change this field and hit save. What if we could make that one click? What if there is a button here that says accept and it gets accepted, reject and it gets rejected? So that type of customizations, adding custom button, listening to some field change and running code in the front end, right? Instant feedback. That sort of stuff we need to do in client scripts that run in the client, which is this desk, right? So what I'll do is I'll open up JavaScript console of the browser, right? I opened it up here. Let me just zoom in a bit. Okay. So in here, there is a global variable, window level variable, cur underscore FRM that refers to this form, whichever is open in the view, right? It has all its data. So if I do cur FRM dot doc dot driver undefined, okay, no, dot status. See, new. This is exactly this, right? And it has a lot of APIs. So if you just do cur FRM dot, and if you scroll down, you will see a lot of them. You can scroll and scroll and scroll. See, so many. So I will show you a few and you can explore more. There is JS API in Frappe framework documentation. Maybe Nikhil or Kavya can share. But let's start simple. Suppose I want to update the value of this status field through my script, right? So I can say frm dot cur frm dot set value, and I can tell it what field I want to update, in this case status, and I want to set it to accepted. Enter. See, changed, but it didn't save. So we also have an API to save the form. Save, right? So I set the value and then I save, so it's saved. So it is just as if clicking this save button, but it will now, if we are able to run this 2 lines of code on a click of a button, it will save some clicks, right? So for adding buttons as well, we have an API frm dot add custom button. Give it the button text. In this case, it will be accept, and the event, right? Like, and the logic that you want to run, anonymous function in this case. So I'll just do console log for now. Console.log button clicked. So whenever So this API is called, like it will add a button to the form, label will be accept, and it will run this code whenever that button is clicked. So let's hit enter. And where did, okay, if you're zoomed in, what it will do is it will put it in the three dots menu automatically, so responsive by default. But if you are not zoomed in that much, you will be able to see the button here. And on click of it, you see it locks button clicked. Accept, accept, accept. You can add as many buttons you want, maybe one for reject. See, accept, reject. So this is the power of client scripts. You can group these buttons, right? I'll show you how to do that. But what I will do right now is I will refresh the page. Gone, right? The buttons are gone because we just temporarily ran the script here. We didn't do it in proper place so that Frappe can again load it when the page refreshes. For that, we have the JS file, right? So in this case, it will be write booking.js file because we want to add buttons to write booking. Uncomment the boilerplate code, right? So it says frappe.ui.form something something, then the name of the doc type is write booking. So it says this is the client script for this doc type's form view. Clear? And it also has some events. We have on load, we have before setup, so on and so forth. Refresh is run whenever the form is refreshed. And this FRM is exactly the car FRM that we were working with in system console or the JavaScript console, car FRM. Here it is FRM, right? So you can run the same APIs. You can say FRM dot add custom button accept, and you can run your code here. And what we will do is we'll do FRM dot set value. We want to set the value of the status field to accepted, right? And I want to save the form. Let's go back, refresh the page. You will see the accept button appeared, right? And if I click on it, okay, it's already accepted. So let's change it first. Accept, see, it got accepted and got saved. So this added a custom button, and on the click of the button, we set the value to accepted, then save. Nice. And we can copy the same logic here for reject, reject, which will just say set the status to rejected. So you can go back, you can say reject or rejected. Let's call it reject. The label of the button. Accept, reject, accept, reject. Now he can play around, right? But yeah, this is some basic client scripting. And we can group the buttons as I said, right? You can say that third argument to this is actions. And if you give both, this is the group name, by the way. So if now I refresh, you will see it is grouped under a drop down menu, accept and reject. Nice. You can even conditionally show these actions. So you only want to show maybe if frm.doc status is equal to new, then only show the actions. If it is already accepted or rejected, don't show the buttons, right? And now if I go back, refresh, you will see that button is no longer there. Only visible when the status is new. If you accept or reject, it will go away. Nice. Yeah, anything? Any doubts on this?
I have a question.
Yeah, one. Go ahead.
If I want the button do certain action over the form, like if I click accepted, it will calculate the total amount of he will no. If I click accept it, it will create a right invoice. For example, how will I do that?
Yeah, you can do that. There is an API for that. So suppose if you click on accept, right, you can say frappe dot new doc, frappe dot new doc, not FRM dot. So there are a lot of other APIs that I'm not showing, but they are there. You can say what type of dot, right, invoice, and you can pass in the data for that. So you can say for this order, right? So what did we call it? We called it order or right order. I go to invoice right now. Booking. Okay. Booking will be frm.doc.name, right? And now if I go back, ta-da, new, accept, see, it automatically set the booking. And even better, you can, once accepted, right? The only thing that is missing from here, like to create a invoice is driver, right? So you can show a dialog. You can say before frappe dot prompt, right? There is an API to prompt for inputs. And this will show a dialog. So let's say, again, I can show you the APIs, JS API, frappe. Come on. Yeah, dialog API is a separate page because there are like 3-4 APIs. Frappe.prompt. So you can give it the fields, right? And I think the first one is like if you just want one field, that is there. But in this case, we want just one field, right? Driver. So we can say driver. And then what code you want to run on that submission, right? So we can say value, and then I will create a form like new doc where the driver will be the value that the user has entered. You can configure this, you can say it is a link field, so on and so forth, but see here, you can tell it is a link field to driver, this, that. Now if I go back, do accept, it will show me a prompt. I'll be asked for a driver, let's say 1, and see, John was selected. Cool. Totally possible. Does that answer your question? Nice.
Yes, it's,
Cool. So check out the APIs. Like there are a lot to cover. It will require a separate training on client scripting. But yeah, this for basic client scripting. We can do one more example. So write invoice before we proceed to portal development. What we can do is right now, if you see, if you change this, oh, it will be harder, but yeah, if you change this to 20, right, the amount not like isn't changing in real time, like not as soon as you change it, it didn't change, right? Only when you hit save, it goes to the backend, runs the code and updates this field, right, automatically. But what if you want this total amount to be calculated, right, once this field changes? So I'll give you a hint. You can elaborate on top of it. So we have to do the same logic that we did in backend, but using client script. So somehow we have to access this table, sum the distances and multiply this and set this, right? So child table scripts are separate, right? So they are written in the same file, but they have to be written. Oh no, we want it in the invoice, right? Invoice. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Nikhil. I'll give you a hint. So if you want to run in the same file as the parent. And you can say whenever maybe distance changes, right? Console.log. Here it also gives you the exact row which got changed. So we can log cdt cdn child doc type and child doc type name. Distance changed. And now if I go back, change any, okay, it broke. Let's see what did we break. Duplicate parameter name not allowed in this context. Okay. Let's see what we did wrong. Oh, CDN, CDN. Haha. CDT. Ha. It was a JavaScript issue, not a wrapper thing. But yeah, now if you change the distance, notice the console. Let's say 10. See, distance changed of this item. Nice. Cool. So now whenever the distance changes, you can loop over the items, right? You can say for let item of frm dot items cons. Okay, let total amount. Same kind of logic, but in front end. So it happens in real time. So this raises a big question. I am coming to that. Total amount plus let total distance plus equals item dot distance Yeah. So at the last you can say frm dot set value. FRM still refers to the parent, by the way. So the form which is active on, that's why we are writing in the same JS file. So we can say set the value of total amount to frm.doc.rate multiplied by total distance. Let's see the magic of this now. As soon as you do this 10, wait, did we do something wrong? Okay, we did. frm.doc.items, frm dot, because the items are of the docs, not of the form. Yeah, let's retry. If I change this to 10, oh, total amount is gone altogether. Ah, ah. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, rate is, I don't think rate is the name of this field. Rate per kilometer. Okay. Debugging, right? So if I change this to 10, yay! So works, right? So I gave you a hint. Now you can again copy this functionality. Yeah. But yeah, this is how you write child table scripts. Cool. Any doubts in this? Should I implement this completely or you will be able to figure out? So this is the name of the field of the child table. So if you give it this name, it will run this code whenever this distance changes. So this is valid for parent as well. So if I copy this invoice and say, I want this to run when the rate field changes, right? You can do the same here. So usually it should be dry code, but right now I'll just copy it. So now even if you change the rate, okay, again, some blunder somewhere. RM. Ooh, 20. Okay, what is happening here? That's why. Next time, let's call it rate. See, changing in real time. So yeah, that is nice. So you might say, why do we need the logic here as well as here? Two places, right? We can just remove the pi side of things. Anyways, it is calculated in the front end, right? Anyone has an answer to this? Why are we repeating ourselves? Back end mein there is logic. We are adding logic front end again. Anyone? You'll find the answer in ERPNX contribution guidelines as well. But does anyone know why are we not keeping all of our logic in JS file? Because it's nicer, right? This will, once you save, also update in database. But the issue is JS only runs, right, when you are using the desk, when you are here, when you open the form. But there are multiple places, multiple ways you can create a doc type. One is this, right? One is using the backend side. Here, no script runs. There is REST API. So if someone calls the API to create a new invoice, this logic won't run, right? The JS side won't run. So always business logic should go in the backend first. And to enhance the user experience, you add client scripts. That's it. That's the reason we have repeated ourselves. This is to enhance the user experience. This will anyways run, even if the user somehow bypasses JavaScript because they have the control of JavaScript in the client side. They won't be able to do anything on this side, right? Yeah, Python, if you make a mistake in JS, this is what ultimately runs when you save. Siva soft asked, will JS logic will be overridden by Python code? Yeah, as soon as you hit save, JS part is done. It is running the backend code and it will set the total amount. Cool.
I mean, in short, the JS logic is just for vanity, right? It's
Yeah.
just for the UX.
Yeah.
What really matters is the Python logic. So even if we don't write the JS, it's just cumbersome for the user, but
Yeah.
it
It will
has to
work.
be there in Python. Like
Yep.
your validations have to be there.
You have to be
Uh,
there.
yeah.
Exactly. Uh, cool. So this was client script. Okay. So we have 7 minutes. So we'll take a break at 12. Before that, let's learn one no code thing in Frappe, which is REST API. So either we can use curl, right, in the command line if you're comfortable with that. We want to make HTTP requests. Or better, you can use something like Bruno, right? It is an API testing client. Gives you a nice UI where you can say, okay, uh, let's create a new collection. I will call it booking API, right? Maybe you have a mobile app. Let's save it anywhere. So this stores your whatever data you're creating locally. Booking, iCaps, create booking API, and now you can create a new request, HTTP request. So suppose you want to talk with your Frappe backend from a mobile app or a third-party service via HTTP, right? You will need some kind of API to talk to. So Frappe out of the box comes with the REST API, comes out with a REST API, and we can let's say get bookings. Let's give this request a name, and we'll make the request to http:// our site name that will be i.caps port 8000 slash API slash. So we'll use the V2 version of it, the new API document, right? And then name of the doc type. In this case, it will be ride booking. Let's call it get bookings. And now I make the HTTP request. I am making a get request, right? And let's make the request permission error. Makes sense, right? Otherwise, anybody will be able to make a request and get the data from our database. Make sense? So somehow we need to authenticate, and you can find different ways you can authenticate in the REST API docs, Frappe Framework REST API docs. But the one way I'm going to use is the token based one. So you can get the API key and API secret per user. So suppose you go to the user list. I pick this one, settings, API access and generate keys. So let's do floating nodes. And I will save this secret key somewhere. It won't be shown again. This is the secret. And then there is one more piece, API key. So API key and API secret, right? Now we can use this to authenticate via API. So we have to add it to our headers, authorization, token, then your key that you obtained, colon, the secret that you obtained. And now if you make the request, you will get the list of orders in the system, right? By default, it just returns the name field. You can ask for more using query parameters. Let's say all fields, which means star, will give you all the fields of the orders. You can even apply filters, right? You can say where doc status is 1. Oh, doc status, the order doesn't have. Where the driver is 1. Data error, what did I do? Is there a driver in booking? Vehicle. Booking doesn't have driver, so makes sense. So suppose, let's see, vehicle list. We only have one vehicle, so where the vehicle is this thing. Okay. This will fetch only those bookings which have vehicle, because just we have one vehicle, so it shows all the bookings. But yeah, JSON in, JSON out. So if you want to create a new vehicle, say, right? So you can go to vehicle and make a post request instead with the data, right? JSON. What all mandatory fields are required to create a vehicle? Make, model, year. Okay. So let's say make Hyundai model i20, year 2009. Make the request and go to vehicle, and you will see Hyundai i20 get created, right? This is another way to do CRUD. First was the UI, second was through this Python console or Python side of things, server side. Third is REST API. This is particularly useful if you want to interact with your Frappe backend from third-party system or even other Frappe instances, right? Out of the box. So you can just replace this document with the name of the doc type, and you can even delete. Suppose I want to delete vehicle, whatever I created right now. This. Okay, which means it went and deleted it. See, gone, got deleted. So you can do CRUD from here as well. Nice. So while we are here, okay, it's already almost 12. You can write your own endpoints as well. In that case, you will need to do method and then path to your endpoint. So you can write it anywhere in your custom app. Let's write it in a new file. Maybe I'll create a new file here called api.py. Write a Python function. Let's say def get money, and it returns a bag of money. Come on. Yep. See? And now you can give the path to it. This will be icap.api, dotted path basically. icap.api.getMoney. Okay, too much scrolling. Let's bring it here. So icap.api.getMoney. Permission error. Makes sense. Because otherwise, anybody with the API keys will be able to call any functions, right? So for this to be accessible from front end, we have to whitelist it using a decorator. So there is a decorator called frappe.whitelist. Only then this method or function can be called from the front end or any client. See, now we got the money back. So this is how you write your own custom endpoints. Even desk, if you open up the, this was pointed out by Nikhil. This was a neat trick we used in the React stream, I guess. So you can, suppose you are looking at something and you want to check how, if there are, like what endpoints the desk is using, right? You can go to this part, zoom out a bit. I want to zoom this out, and you can reload this. You will see it also makes API request to some dotted paths. See what all data is being researched. So you can use the same dotted path to get your own stuff outside of Frappe. Nice. Okay, let's take a break. Till then, if you are following along, maybe you can give it this a try. And if you have any doubts, you can ask after the break. Let's join in back at 12:15 and we will start. Let's resume. Is everyone back? Yeah, before going to the break, we were looking at REST API and how we can add our own custom API endpoints in the sense. Actually, these are generally called RPCs or remote procedural calls. So you can call a function remotely like this. But yeah, you can say scale, right? And then automatically Nikhil, can you disable video maybe, Denise? Like it's little distracting. Okay, thanks. So what we'll do is they can pass in the data from here, get money, and we can pass in the scale. I'm requesting again, please keep your mics on mute. Yeah. So now scale 10. So what you can say is multiplied by scale. Now if you make a request here, you will get 10 money or 5. Nice. Just defining the arguments of the function, and Frappe will automatically take care of making this. Nice. So yeah, this was all about, so we learned controllers, we learned client scripting, REST API, so much. So now from here, Nikhil will take over. So for Nikhil to do this same app development in his laptop, uh, I will have to share this app, right? So what we will do now is we'll push this app to GitHub. So Nikhil can pull it, right? So if you see, there are 26 changes because Frappe automatically initialized a Git repository for us when we created the app, and that's why it was asking the name of the branch as well, right? And you can see it also created one commit just after creating the app. So whatever changes you are seeing that are made by us, right? So we can say wait Hussein, or we can say end of part 1, something like that. And then I can push this to GitHub, right? GitHub, and then anybody will be able to pull it. So I have GitHub CLI installed, git repo create. So I want to push an existing local repository, iCab. Where do I want to push it? I want to push it at my GitHub account, right? Description, March 2024, cab, rental management app. Public is fine. Yes. Yes. So this will push to GitHub and it will give me a link, right? And you will see this is the GitHub repository. Nice. So now over to you, Nikhil. So he will show you how he pulls it in his bench. So I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, I'll share my screen.
Yeah, you
Man,
can
they
turn on the
have
camera
a,
as well. Maybe I will.
yeah,
Should I post?
but
Wait. I'll post the GitHub link in the chat.
why does it say like a warning sign on my desktop? Oh, okay. I need to open system preferences. I'll join back.
Okay, sure. Make me a host, by the way, before you
Oh,
leave.
okay. Okay. How do I make you a
Done.
host?
I've done it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can now share my screen. Great.
Cool.
So let's do this. I'll share this screen so that I can still read the messages. I don't know how you do it. Okay. So what's the repository? What's the name of the repository? iCab.
Yep.
Okay. So I have a terminal running over here, right? I'm just going to use a bench that I already have. What I'm going to do is I'm first going to get this app. So I'm going to say bench get app. And I'm assuming that this is, yeah, okay. I'll just use the HTTPS. So what this will do is that it will first do a git clone. What did it say? You need NumPy?
Oh, wait, I might have done some. So for showing, right? So let me just fix it. Okay. Fix remove numpy. Yeah.
I'll
Try
delete
now.
the app.
Yeah, delete and try now.
Maybe bench remove app and then iCab. Okay.
Yep.
And then bench get app. Okay, so what this essentially did was copied it over, right, via Git. Then it installed the dependencies. Anytime you install dependencies, there are two things that are installed, right? One is all the Python libraries that you need for your server, and also whatever is mentioned in package.json, that also gets installed, right? If you are using, let's say, if you have a separate app as well, like the new Frappe apps, right? Those would also get installed now. That is, your Vue files or your React files. The libraries that are mentioned in the package.json, they'll also get installed. So before I can install this, I'll need to start my bench because otherwise it won't let me install it. And then I'm going to open a new tab and say bench install app. What's the name? iCab. It's iCab or iCabs?
It's just iCab.
Okay. The reason why I'm not mentioning the site over here because I'm using a default site, right? But if you had to install it on just one site, you would do something like, my site.dev and then install it on just one site. But anyway, this is how you can collaborate with the team if you wanted to. So, someone could push, let's say, 4 doc types and all of the Python and JavaScript files. The other person would need to pull those changes, right? And then run a bench update. Normally, I run a bench update, requirements, patch, and build on my local server. I don't take a backup, so I usually do a no backup. It's not really required. But yeah, when you do this, what it will do is it will build all of the apps. So first it will install all of the requirements, build all of the apps, and also run any patches. Patches can include migrations that you have written yourself, or it can include things like new doc type changes, that sort of thing. So it will update your database for you. So I have a lot of apps, so this might keep going. Okay. Till then, yeah, this is running. So let's go to our browser and let's go to localhost 8000. It's being updated. Oh, someone, Hussein, would you be the
Yeah.
host maybe? Yeah.
Okay, you can make me host if you want.
Oh, do I have to? I don't know how to use Zoom.
I will try from this side. Yeah, I'm now host. So
Okay. So, yeah. So I've installed it, right? Now, if I refresh this, I should see, I'll switch to this. Do I zoom in? I think I'll have to zoom in. Okay. And you can see that I have the app installed, iCab, right? You'll also see that if I go to my doc type list, let's remove this filter. So yeah, ride invoice item, driver, ride booking, vehicle. I've got all of that, right? For the purposes of this, yeah. Okay, so we have our doc types. We probably also have all the other things. So, Hussein, what do you want me to cover first? I know the list.
your call. So you can
Uh,
start with web view maybe.
Okay, web view.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
we need a web view for exactly what vehicle?
Yeah. So the use case is that Irfan has given us is basically he wants a list of vehicles and people should be able to browse and book through the web form that we created.
So they'll book vehicles and not drivers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So well, they need to browse this vehicle, and this vehicle needs to be publicly accessible. So what we would first need to do is we would have to set a has web view over here, right? Do we want users to be logged in and only view it then, or can they, be guest users?
Yeah, they can be anyone. Anyone should be able to browse and book, right? So
Right. So when you check allow guests to view, that means that anyone who's not logged in can also look at it, right? Good use case would be, let's say, a blog article, right? That needs, access to the public. Um, if you were building an Uber, right, which is what we are, we probably would want them to sign up, maybe, right? But for the purposes of this tutorial, we will just allow guests to view. Route, let's set it to vehicles. Vehicles. Okay. Is published field. So, okay. Now there is a scenario wherein, let's say you have 20, 30 vehicles, right? But not all of them do you want to be, available to the public, right? You might only want 20, the rest 10 are in repairs or something is happening to them, right? So you don't want those to be available. So that's why it says is published field. So what we need to do is we need to add a field over here called is published. I'm not sure if check. Yeah. Sorry. is published or is available. I'm just going to name it is available. Okay, let's go to this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, is available. Why not? Oh, okay. The I was capital. Field route is mandatory for web views. Do I have to mention a route? Okay.
Yep. Because each vehicle can have a different route. So Frappe needs to know where will this be rendered, right? Where will this vehicle web
Yeah.
page be rendered? That's why it's
Yeah.
like it should be exactly called route as well. So
Right. So, but I'll need to make this route the same as maybe the ID of the vehicle somehow.
no, so Frappe will take care
Oh,
of
okay.
setting a default using the title field.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So Frappe will just populate that field then.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can manually set it, but yeah.
Yep. I'll have to create vehicles and do everything. Okay. So make would be what? Honda year, let's say 2018. Model is city. Right. I don't have an image right now, but okay. If I check is available, see it generated the route, right? And it has this link over here that says see on website. If I go to see on website, so it populates this. Now this is a very generic, page, doesn't do much. But what I'll do is I'll open my code editor, and for that I'll go to okay. I have VS Code. I'll have to zoom in as well, I think. Yeah. See, what you'll see is I've made some changes to the vehicle doc type, and that's why there are changes in the vehicle.py file, right? And vehicle.json file. Now, vehicle.json is sort of understood because I made changes directly. But look at these changes, right? In vehicle.py, it changed the vehicle from a document class to a website generator. That's because it's got WebView enabled, right? So it will have certain different functions, especially related to context. I'll get to that in a bit. You have vehicle row, which I'll just, can I move this? It's irritating. Okay, I'll move it over here. Cool. You'll see vehicle row where, let me open vehicle row directly. Yeah. So for every web view, you would need two pages, right? One is to view the vehicle, the other is to view a list of vehicles. So vehicle row.html would be essentially the list of vehicles. Vehicle.html, this. That's nothing, just the page that we just saw, right? And this, you can see there's a comment sample default web page template. So if I go to vehicles, it should show me a list. See, a very basic list. Now, this is what you get out of the box, but we can customize this, right? So since these are HTML, Frappe uses Jinja templating, and Frappe uses Jinja templating everywhere for portal pages, for web view pages. In web forms, you can use Jinja. You can use Jinja in your print formats. So what we'll do now is maybe have the fields. I don't know what fields we have. Let's see. We can show the data in a nice way. So we'll use something like make model year, right? And then eventually add an image, right? Now I haven't added an image yet, but let's see. So instead of doc.title or doc.name, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this with doc.make. And let's see, sorry. No. Oh, okay, sorry. This should work, I'm assuming. Got end of print statement. What? Okay. Sorry. I had added that. Okay. Yeah. So you can see I've added, the make. I need to concatenate the string. So I'll just do, I don't know why we need this E thing. Probably not. I mean,
Yeah, I think you
last I
can get
checked.
rid of it. It's like
Yeah.
escape. Recently got added.
Yeah. Doc dot model. I hope that's the variable name. And doc dot, is it year? See, year, nice. Model, nice. Okay. So if we go back to our list, yeah, Honda City 2018, right? You can click on this and it will take you to the page. Now, one thing is that we can spice it up a little bit. We can add our we can add our image over here. Now, the problem is I don't have an image added. So it is conditional, right? First, I'll try adding the image directly and I'll show you how it looks because it will essentially run into a broken image problem, right? IMG SRC, and then I'll have to, okay, but I think it's vehicle image, right? Okay. Let's see, I'm assuming that it's a square image, but yeah, whatever. Okay. So you see, this is a broken image because it is not mandatory for a vehicle to have an image. So we'll have to make some sort of conditional logic over here, right? That says, oh, if there is a vehicle image, then show the image. Else maybe don't show the image or show like a placeholder. So for that, what we'll do, okay, in fact, let's first actually try seeing if it comes up with an image. Honda City image. Hey, looks cool. I'm going to save image. And then I'm going to add this to my Honda City. Yep. I don't want this to be private because again, we want guest users to be able to view it, right? So I don't want it to be private. You can optimize it. You'll see that by default, the optimize is not checked over here because I mean, it must have figured out that this image is already optimized. That happens sometimes. Sometimes if you upload a very high quality image, this will be auto checked. So anyway, so I don't want this to be private since it's a publicly available page, and you'll see that it's uploaded and the URL is /files. If it was private, it would be /private, and then the name of the image. So if I go back to my list view, yeah, looks cool. I think what I'll do to just make it a little bit better is object fit cover maybe. Okay, cool. So now we have that image, but let's say if I add another vehicle, right? And I say that this is a Nissan, or I don't know, I have no idea of brand names. Kia Sonet, right? And it's a 2022 Kia Sonet and it's available. And if I go to the list view now, you'll see it's a broken image. So we need to do some sort of conditional rendering. One way to do it, and this is the easy way, right, is you just say if doc dot vehicle image. I mean, it is completing it for me. Okay. Else, I mean, I'm not going to do an else for now, but I'm just going to do an end. if, and this needs to be a self-closing tab. Okay. So if there is no image, then it doesn't show anything. If there is an image, then it shows something. Now you can make it a little fancy. You can add a placeholder image, right? So you can do, let's say, else I want a placeholder image. So I can go to Icon Monster and I can search for a car maybe. This looks fine, I guess, for now. It's an SVG, but I'll just use this for now. Okay. Right along the ledge. Okay, cool. So if we have a vehicle image, show an image tag, right, with these properties where the SRC is the vehicle image. If you want it to be accessible, then we should also have an alt text. So an image of, and then you can say an image of this is this, right? And else show this SVG, right? Which is base64 encoded for now. But I think that should do it. So if I go here, sorry, list. Yeah. Now I can style it. I can probably make the height and width, the same as over here. I probably need to do that. It looks ugly. But you sort of get the idea, right? So you can have any placeholder and then you can have, this entire list. So as you keep adding these vehicles and as these vehicles are checked as is available, now again, this checkbox could be anything. This could be is published, right? Published didn't really make sense for a vehicle, right? You only want, it to be available and not available. So if this is checked, then this will be available on the website for your users to view, right? Now, the file that we edited over here was vehicle_row.html. Now I want to go inside the vehicle, right? And I want to see more details about it. We probably don't have a lot of details, but I want to see this particular page over here. So I can make changes in vehicle.html, which is the page for that specific vehicle, right? I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier, which is make, and then I think model. Yeah. See? Okay. And then I'll also need an image maybe. I mean, the width could be, I think, higher. I think I'll just remove the width and height for now. Yeah. Okay, so now we have an image. Maybe I'll just remove object fit cover as well and keep this to contain. Oh, okay, I think the image itself was cropped to begin with. Okay, yeah. Okay, so any questions so far?
Not yet.
Set aspect ratio instead. Yeah, I mean, ideally you would use aspect ratio. Ideally, you wouldn't use an SVG for that. See, the thing is that with aspect ratio, right, you have to be sure that all of the images also maintain that aspect ratio. Otherwise, it will just squeeze. But yeah, if you use aspect ratio with object fit contain or cover, it will be fine. Okay. Hussein, what next? Do we want people to be able to make a booking from here?
Maybe we can add a button. But before that, can you just show like the template again?
Yeah.
Here there is this extends part, right? Like maybe elaborate on that. Extends web.html.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So essentially what's happening over here is that in Frappe, right, you already have a set of templates and blocks available to you. So I'll just pull up the documentation and show some other blocks as well. I think we can add like a breadcrumb and all of that as well. See. Jinja. Where is Jinja? Yeah, Jinja. Yeah, no, not this one. No.
Maybe search for portal.
Portal pages. Portal.
Web view pages.
Yeah, web view pages. I saw that. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So let's see where are the templates that they have. No, that's the tutorial page. So I want the Jinja templates that they have inbuilt, you know, for adding the breadcrumbs and other things.
There will be, I guess. Yeah, here you can find the.
Yeah, there is some. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Can
Yeah.
you zoom in a bit?
So these. Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay. So two things over here. One is that if you have translatable strings, then you should make it translatable by using the underscore function, right? But they have a list of standard context keys, right, that you can use. So add breadcrumbs, no breadcrumbs, etc. So what we'll do is we'll just copy add breadcrumbs. Where is it? That's not it. Yeah. Okay. Where do we have my? Nope. I'm doing it in vehicle. Add breadcrumbs to your HTML MD file.
So I haven't used this before, but
Yeah, I mean, I have used it way back when it used to.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
I
working
know.
probably.
Yeah, it's not working. Maybe the API for that has changed then.
Yeah, it's fine, I guess. But yeah, you can like completely get rid of the extents and you will see the difference. Like get rid of the
Oh
block
yeah.
and extents and you will see what this actually brings. Yeah, just imagine H1 and now check the page. Oh wait. Cache. Some kind of cache.
Really? I don't think so.
Yeah, cache. So you can go to website settings,
Website settings.
clear cache. Or you
Nope. If I just remove this.
like it's commented out, so
No,
maybe
no,
yeah, gone.
it was. Yeah. Okay, so the comments apparently don't work. Yeah. So let's see. If you look at this web.html, what it does is that all of your settings for your website, right? So your nav bar, maybe your footer as well, all of those are actually preserved, right? And then this block page content is essentially, you know, wrapping. So imagine your page in like separate blocks, right? The page content is the main section, right? You want your whatever your image, form, whatever it is, it needs to be after the header, before the footer. So that's essentially what it does. If I remove page content, I don't know how much of a difference it will make. Nope. I mean, I'll just remove this. Yeah. See, it doesn't even show up now. So you'll need to wrap it in page content. Now, if you do not use this, right, you can still program it. So it will just be like a regular HTML file, right? But this gives you the utilities to get you the header and the footer, which you can configure via the UI in website settings or portal settings. Okay. What else? I really wanted to add the breadcrumbs because then I cannot go back.
So maybe in the context file we can show. So there is one way if we want to do it. So go to vehicle.py file. Vehicle.py. Yeah.
You mean the context
Add
over
a
here?
context here, and then add context.add breadcrumb equal to true.
Yeah. See, they don't. Where is the breadcrumb thing?
Yeah,
Okay,
add
here.
breadcrumbs 1.
It's usually a utility function, right?
Yeah,
Like
get underscore context. See, it shows some things, but
context dot
Yep.
add breadcrumbs. Do you think this will work? Should
should
work.
work. Okay, cache.
Or maybe it's the
I'm
cache.
blaming on cache.
No,
because usually it works.
apparently not. Yeah, usually it works. So normally what happens for all the
Okay, we
others,
can
right?
try no cache as well. Add a no cache to the context. No underscore cache, yeah. It still
Nope.
doesn't.
So it says, okay, try block breadcrumbs. So
Yeah, that will definitely work because that's
yeah, that's like directly importing it. Cache. I don't know. I mean, we've said
no.
no
So
cache.
you then in that case you don't need the block part, only include part. And that if you want that inside the page, move it inside the content. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are Jinja features, by the way. I'm blaming cache again because it should load.
No, I mean it used to work, right? And we're just
But
following
it
the
still
docs.
works. I don't know why. Like bench
Yeah,
is caching
maybe.
the. So templates are cached, and then there is one more thing you can try. In the command line, you can run bench dash dash site or bench clear website cache. Clear. Clear website cache. So there is a separate command.
But clear cache clears everything. So
Apparently not templates. Clear dash.
okay, clear website cache.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, still
Oh.
not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe something is wrong on my bench, maybe. It is possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I mean, there are a bunch of keys that you can use, right, to design your pages. I'll go a little deep into the context over here, right? So you can think of your web page as, I mean, already in the context you have the document, right? The vehicle document. But you might want to add some other context as well. So maybe you want to show a button or not show a button, based on some API call or some value in your database, right? So it could be that you want to show a list of all the available slots for this vehicle, could be, right? And you're maintaining another doc type for it. So in that case, you would, probably do something like slots is equal to frappe.db.get list, and then, something like that. And then you can pass it as context over here, context.slots is equal to slots, right? We don't have this doc type. I'm just mentioning this for right now, but you could do this and then you can show the different slots over there. You can loop over using Jinja, Jinja is a standard Python library. It's like less to do with Frappe. It's a standalone open source library, so you can use that. But yeah, that's the context. We use context, quite a lot. If you look at Frappe Builder, the new app, right? It also uses this context to actually set the content of the web page, because it uses a website generator, but it needs to pass in the values in context because everything is in a JSON. So it needs to format, create an HTML, and then serve it to the end user. So yeah, that's what the context is for. Okay. What do we need to do next over here?
So basically, like we saw one way to create web pages, right? So when we enabled web view, we got vehicle.html.
Yeah.
But what if we want to create normal web pages, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
Yep. So what you would do is, where is the public folder? Public, no?
www directory. I think
Yeah, but where is that?
to get ignored, I guess. Maybe create one.
Oh, okay. Are you sure it's get ignored?
No. So it might be an empty folder. So GitHub didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So I need to know where do we add that new folder, www. Okay. So any page that you add in this www folder, right, will essentially be available at that particular path. So for example, I can say, I'm just going to create a test page.html over here, right? This is a test page. Let's see. Yep, this is a test page, right? So you can create as many pages as you want. This is essentially what it does is that there's a path resolution that Frappe does, right? So if you go to a particular slash path, it will look at all the redirects and everything. And after that, it will actually look at the www folder, check if there is some HTML file available for this, and it will set it. So if I copy, let's say, this over here, I extend it, and then I copy the page content block. And yeah. Okay, and if I refresh this, so you see, I got the header, footer, and the test page, right? I can change this page. I'll change this page to actually be a vehicle page. We want a page for vehicle, right, Hussain? Or
It's
was
fine.
this just for
Normal
demonstration?
page, just for demonstration. And
Okay, cool.
maybe you can show also how you can attach context to this.
Yes, I was going to. That's why I wanted to create a vehicle.
Yeah.
But okay, let's just create context for now. So to add context to this page, context means essentially extra data that you want to pass to the HTML, and then you can use that data to render things, right? You will need to create a Python file of the same name. So test_page.py, right? And then let's see, def get context. Let's see, import Frappe, and then you can say context. This will not work. We know that, but let's say that you want to say context.title is equal to this is a test page, and then you go to test page.html, and instead of this, you say title. Should work, hopefully. Yep, this is the test page. So what you can do now is you can serve all kinds of data over here, right? Example apps for this would be Frappe Wiki. Frappe itself uses this for blogs, but that's via website generator. But yeah, Frappe Wiki would be the one that's using this and the website generator. So yeah, and then you can fetch whatever and serve it. All of this, by the way, will be server-side rendered. right? Because I mean, essentially, you're just rendering the HTML. Even the HTML itself is Jinja, so this is actually rendered on the server, then served to the client, right? So this would be amazing for SEO, unlike other single page apps. So yeah, what should we cover next, Hussein? I'm not sure about your schedule.
Yeah. So any doubts in this? Anyone? Portal development. So this is mostly portal side of things. Customer portals, supplier portals, this kind of e-commerce stuff.
Yeah, let's actually take them to portal settings. So in portal, so these are web pages, right? We call them web pages in the documentation. If you want to search for portal, just search for portal pages, right? So these are all portal pages. So the one that we showed on the doc type, right? When you check has web view, that's a web page for that particular doc type. And portal is, all these pages that I just added. The test page is also a portal page. And then you can set, where is that? No, not these. You can set things in portal settings as well. So you'll see that this happens in ERP Next, where they have, suppliers can access their request for quotation and all of that on the left-hand side menu. So yeah. So should we move on to hooks, or is there something else that we need to do over here?
I think we are done for today. Tomorrow you can start
Okay.
with reports and hooks. So that
Okay.
are the two major topics remaining now. If
Yeah.
anybody has any questions regarding today's or yesterday's content, they can start. Tomorrow, as in like the next training, which will be on Saturday. So there is a 2 days break, by the way. So by the way, try this like in the chat. Harshal has shared this context.parents. I think this will work. Add breadcrumbs did not work because it didn't know what breadcrumbs to render.
I mean, it should work for vehicle.html, right? I mean,
Yeah,
kind
there
of,
it could work.
yeah. Let's see. I mean, this would be what? Vehicles. And have I added? Okay, I need to add breadcrumbs. Actually, I have added it in my context, right? Yeah, add breadcrumbs. Okay. Oh, yeah. Nice. Well, they should mention that in the documentation. Okay. Yep. Works now.
Yeah, so this should be in documentation, but
I remember it working without this, but maybe I created a portal page directly and not.
yeah,
But
probably
no.
portal page also it works only in cases I think where the parent directory, etc.
Yeah. Like it's a nested route.
Hmm. Cool. I think yeah, we covered a lot of things. For portal side, we covered web form. Maybe like we can end with a button here, like a link which takes to the web form.
Right?
Yeah.
Do we have a web form ready?
Yeah.
I
Did
think
I
you
ship
already
it?
created one.
See, this is the problem. I
Huh.
didn't make it standard. So the code
Okay.
didn't ship, so you didn't get it. But let's assume
Okay.
there is a web form, so we can easily drop an A tag there.
Yeah, but I only need the web form for ride booking, right?
Yeah. You can easily create
So
it.
what's the
Right?
name of the
Booking.
ride
Right, booking. Hmm.
ride booking? Yeah, so what Zen's saying is that he did not check his standard when he created this web form, right?
Mm.
In fact, this is something that you'll see in reports, dashboards, web forms, pretty much everything, right? Where if you check is standard, then you also need to specify a module, right? What this will do is that if you're on developer mode, then only will you see these options, but it will create those files in your code base. And so when you deploy it, right, these web forms will come by default. That's also how all the other Frappe apps have dashboards and workspaces and everything by default, right? Please fill up the form to book a ride. I can just get the fees, right? Okay. They'll select a vehicle, that's fine, right? They'll enter their pickup address. They don't need to enter the status, I believe. I think that's it. You
Yep.
can save this. We'll publish it. Hey, this is new. Copy embed code. Didn't know that. Okay. So yeah, I have this now. Okay. So we will need a button to redirect to this particular page. I'll go to my I mean book a ride. Let's see.
It also added scripts. I don't know why.
Oh no, I don't know why. Yeah. Okay. But I need to add some styling that I want. Like, I mean, I want it to look like a button, but let's see if it works. Let's see. I mean,
BTN primary maybe. Yeah.
yeah. Yep. You click on book a ride and it should automatically fill in the vehicle. So the way that we did this, right, it's automatically filling in the vehicle is we set it in the query params, right? And you can set however many query params you want. This is probably not the best way to do it because there is also Jinja templates to get the route. So you can do like, think frappe dot get link, or there's something that's there that you can autofill the form with, or maybe that's in JS. But I would rather want this vehicle to be maybe read only, but we can do it for a later time. But yeah, so you have a form now. You can go back, you can browse your vehicles, and then you can do all kinds of crazy things over here, right? You can have search and everything. So yeah.
Yep, I think it was good. Thanks, Nikhil, for showing this.
Website search field. Let's try this. Okay. Okay. Field title is mandatory if website search field is set. Okay, I'll look into this. I haven't ever tried this. This is also a new feature, I believe. Website search field.
Yeah, even I haven't tried and I won't cover it.
Yeah.
But yeah, something for like
Okay.
minutes to explore. But yeah, this was
Okay,
more
any
of the portal
questions?
side of things. Any questions? So yeah, you can ask.
Uh, No questions?
Yeah, none yet. So yeah, we can end. Like Nikhil is pushing the repository, so you get to see the flow as well. Next class is on Saturday, yes. 29. Oh no, not 29, 30. 30 is Saturday.
Oh, I'll have to create a fork. Okay. Yeah. Probably can't push it. Next class is on Saturday, yes.
Cool, I think. Then we'll see you guys on Saturday.